I'm very happy to be here today speaking at a distance to the Mediterranean Neuroscience Society. So just to give you a brief introduction about myself, I'm Ahmed El Hady. I'm currently a postdoc in Princeton University studying decision making in rats, both on a theoretical level and neurophysiologically. I did my PhD in Germany at the Max Planck Institute for Dynamics and Self-Organization, and I am originally from Egypt. I'm here today to speak not about my science, but about an activity that I have co-founded in 2014. It's an initiative called NeuroBridges. The idea came when I visited Israel-Palestine in January 2014. I was invited by Jonathan Lufenstein at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem to attend the neuroscience, the retreat of the neuroscience department there. And we chatted there and say, a lot of people were very excited that an Egyptian is visiting and presenting his work there. So we said, okay, why not we make an event that brings Arab and Israelis together. We said, okay, let's begin by a very basic event, which by then, well, because I was in Germany, we did it in Göttingen, where we had, the first idea was to have a scientific workshop to bring 21 scientists, 7 Israelis, 7 Arabs, and 7 Germans, because we were in Germany, and having Arab and Israelis only will create a very awkward-looking polarized event, and we did it with the presence of Germans, and the event was opened by Irvin Nair, then at the Max Planck at the Max Planck Institute for Biophysical Chemistry. The event went all fine. People interacted. We said, okay, first event was very good. We didn't get. We intended not to have a lot of coverage for the first event, just to see how the dynamics of people will go. For me, it was very inspiring to see that there is just the human interaction. This is what I wanted from the event. I'm not a politician. I believe that science is political in many levels, but what I wanted is just this human interaction. The next thing, we said, to Jonathan, I discussed with him this first experience in 2014 worked. We said, okay, let's plan for the 2015. And we planned another scientific workshop in Paris that was hosted by Jean-Luigi Mongillo and very much supported by David Hanzel, who is attending this event. Also bringing 21 scientists, 7 Arabs, 7 Israelis, and 7 French. And this time we got more media coverage. Science covered the event, and people begin to talk about it in terms of, this seems to be an event that is promising and promise continuity. Then we had a deeper discussion afterwards. Okay, should we continue only with senior scientists? Is this impactful or not, to have only senior scientists? And then the feedback we got is that we need to involve more people. But as we all say, old generation maybe is a bit lost in the old fights. So why not we try with the younger generations that is maybe more prone to interact? And that's why we decide that this year, 2017, is to expand the concept from just a scientific workshop for senior and maybe advanced young scientists into students, undergraduate, early graduate students, and not only Arab and Israelis, because if you look at the region, everyone is fighting everyone. So maybe we expanded the idea was to expand the concept beyond the Arab Israelis to include not only Arab Israelis but also Iranians, Turks, and the whole Mediterranean region. That's a basic evolution of the idea, and we got a lot of applications, and also thanks to the Mediterranean Neuroscience Society for promoting this event. I'm hoping that we continue the concept of the school that is this year in 2017 is hosted by David Hanzel in France, and he became one of the major players now in co-organizing this school. I think the obstacles we had was recruiting students in many times, but I think as we become more and more visible, we will recruit more and more students. Sometimes people don't come because they have particular political positions. I totally understand this, but I think also what I have seen from my experience in such events is that people come with very different political opinions, and then they argue. The event was very successful in not being deployed as a political tool by any side, and that's very important because people come with diverse opinions, and we don't want to represent any particular opinion. It's very hard to definitely stay neutral, but at least in these times we live, where there is a very strong rise for the far right, the fascist right, I think it's very important that we have a medium where which people can at least talk humanely and reasonably. We make sure that people talk. For what I have done till now, yeah, there was arguments, very strong arguments. People will stay the whole night talking, 6-7 hours. But it's such an enjoyable thing to see this, that people who usually never meet interact. And here I'm reminded by a very famous quote for Emmanuel Levinas. Mm-hmm. The face is what forbid us to kill. You know, the face of the other is what forbid us to kill. So I still believe in that when you interact with someone and you recognize that the other is as human as I am, there is some hope that people can connect.
And do they speak more about science or more about politics in the free time?
They speak both, usually in the morning about science, but you know, Arab and Israelis meeting means that they're going to talk politics the whole evenings and becomes. And from this, from what I know, people develop personal connections, scientific collaborations, begin to scientifically. So we have, you know, two aims here, that people begin to interact on a personal level and on a scientific level, to be able to interact scientifically. So I have seen both interaction, more in the morning during the session, very strong. We invite very high-profile speakers and lecturers that are coming to our school, very worldwide recognized, and we focused on theoretical and computational neuroscience because this is the expertise of the organizers. I'm hoping that people in other subfields of neuroscience will just copy this type of initiative.
And can you list examples of successful scientific interaction that arose from these conversations, or some feedback that you received from students about what they learned, what they got out of the experience? So is it a success story apart from being organized?
It is a success story because this is continuing. So that's first of all, because I know other events that was tried to reorganize on this line and did not continue because people are not either coming or people have security concerns over being openly interacting with Israelis. I don't have these concerns, and if somebody asks to have his or her identity not put online or stuff like this, I'm very fine with this because there is, you know, we live in an area basically dominated by dictatorships. So it's very hard sometimes for people living back in the Middle East to reveal that they are interacting. For example, Lebanese students are not allowed by law to interact with Israelis and other complications. This is, for me, the first point of success. That's a success. The second thing, you know, the feedback I got, you can read the science article that was done. You know, I don't like to talk a lot about the event, but I received a lot of very positive feedback and feedback about how to make it better. There is feedback that got that we can do it in the Middle East. I decline this always because it's a security issue. I think, you know, Europe is, you know, I think is much safer and better to organize events there, and it's a less polarized place. Because if I would like to get them into my home country, for example, Egypt, then it will be a whole big issue concerning Secret Service and a lot of other complications. But till now, having it in Europe have basically eased this up for us. in terms of scientific collaborations, I didn't keep track how people, continued from the interaction from it. I personally have scientific collaborations out of discussions within NeuroBridges, but this year in the school we have a project sections where students will do project together, and let's see, maybe they will, and the projects will be hybrid, and let's see if they work on the projects and then take it back home together or stay in touch about this. But for me, the bottom line is that as organizers, we have never enforced any type of interaction. Just get people together, succeed in getting people together, and then let it go from there. You have both the scientific, the personal, and the political interaction.
Do you need help? Do you think that interaction with societies like the Mediterranean Neuroscience Society or the IBRO in more general sense can be helpful to you?
Yeah, I think as we expand more into type of schools activity, we will need definitely support in terms of reaching out to students. We will need financial support to support students coming. So these are the basic 2 points. As we expand, and interacting with the Mediterranean Neuroscience Society will help us to gain more visibility within the region, to have one of the legitimate initiatives there that begin small, but then we want to have, to ensure continuity. It should not depend on the people. It does not depend on me or Jonathan. We want to have a continued initiative that hopefully I wanted to have to be an integral part of the region. So, as the Mediterranean Neuroscience Society oversee most of the neuroscience activity within the region, I think this is the go-to place in order to reach out to people. I think in these dark times we live in, I think we should have to cling to the hope of people interacting with each other. And I repeat again the Levinas's quote, the face is what forbids us to kill. When you see someone, I don't think our first impulse is to kill someone.